The next person who I'd like to ask to share this afternoon is the winner of the Charles Wesley Prize in Sacred Music and Liturgy, Miss Antonia Arnold-McFarland, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. I bring you greetings from Raleigh, North Carolina. And I know some other North Carolinians here. Raise your hand. There we go. We got to talk. And I am excited to be here. This has been a wonderful journey for me. I started this journey in 2010. Officially started working on my program in 2011, however. I started out as a student for a Doctor of Sacred Music. And as I began to do the research, I realized that I wanted to do more than just that. So I changed the curriculum about a year ago to a Doctorate of Ministry in Creative Arts. And first of all, I wanted to say thank you to the faculty and staff of the Graduate Theological Foundation. I know I probably emailed a lot of you, maybe got on your nerves, I don't know your face. But and also I want to thank my project advisor, Dr. Anthony Hunt, who's in the room. Raise your hand, Dr. Hunt. There he is, who kind of helped me pull all of this together in the final months. So just a little bit about me. This was a hybrid, and I appreciate the Graduate Theological Foundation for allowing me to do this. I had consulted other schools right in my backyard. There's a lot of universities in North Carolina. And I have a background in mechanical engineering, and I see the world through innovative and scientific way. And I also love music. So when these two forces collide, the possibilities are just tremendous. So I thank you for allowing me to do that in a hybrid fashion. So with that being said, I focused my studies on the evolution of African American worship. I didn't want this initially to be so grand, but that was the only way to do it. I had to go back to the very beginnings of Africans in America in 1619 and understand how worship evolved for us. I had to pull in what I learned from other scholars, from articles and from bibliographies and things of that nature, interviews, my own personal experience from my family, and sitting in my Baptist church in South Carolina listening to songs that didn't even have words at times. They were just felt. And by doing that, I wanted to understand how that evolved and how gospel music evolved around that, along the historical timeline of African Americans. My finding was that around 1930, gospel music began to evolve, not just with African Americans, but with Americans. There was an evangelical movement where people who were like the common people did not necessarily want to sing the structured hymns, because the hymns are very hard to sing. Does anybody know that hymns are hard to sing, especially Christmas carols? So people began to write words that were just, out of their daily life. And they began to add, put that into common music, just what they play on the guitar, what they're singing at home. And this kind of music evolved across the United States. So with that, gospel music, like I said, Thomas Dorsey founded that in a way and revolutionized. There were others around that era, but he kind of revolutionized that. And then every 30 years, what I saw was every 30 years, someone else carried that baton. So it started with him, and then around the 1960s, it was James Cleveland, some of his great songs, I Don't Feel No Ways Tired. He also was able to make secular and sacred merge. He took a song by Gladys Knight and added and changed the lyrics to it. So artists began to allow that to happen. And then 30 years after that, 90s, we had Kirk Franklin come along the scene, and he's more of a pop artist now. He's evolving in other areas. He's done movies. So he's taking gospel outside of the church in ways, and it's become more accepted. So I looked at how gospel music has evolved in the local church and the industry. So I'm a music director. I understand the pains of having to put together music every Sunday, but at the same time, you got to keep ministry fresh and relevant for the whole year. and times after that. So I'm very interested if anybody wants to talk to me about your local music ministry. There is an exchange there multiculturally. It's not just African American. There's an exchange there multiculturally that we can all benefit from and learn from each other. Because when we go to worship, there is no color. We worship we worship God, and He uses our gifts in ways that are manifested in us individually. And with that being said, I would just like to have everyone think on, the worship experience that you have. What can you do to help renew that? My project, which I really spent a lot of time on November, December, January, I used social media. I put together a Facebook group. I surveyed a sample of lay people, ministers, choir directors, musicians from the Raleigh-Durham area, and I pulled data from them, and I quantified that to understand, what are your biggest concerns? Like, what issues do you have in your music ministries? And I pulled together a series of prescriptions on, here's some solutions, here's some practical things that you can do like right now. I also pulled into, from my technical side, a SWOT analysis, which was used for strategic planning. We did that in a 2-day workshop in Raleigh, North Carolina, pulled in some of my local contacts and gospel artists that I know, producers, to come and do a panel discussion and have some open dialogue on how they can improve their local ministry as well as what they're doing in the industry. And that was very exciting. I use a field called Six Sigma, which I have a certification in, an international certification, and I use it every day at work. And what you do with that is, first you define your problem, then you measure it. So I did that with surveys, and I also did that with what I collected from my research. And then you analyze that, which I did with survey analytical tool. And then you also improve it, and then you control it. So where I found that we have the biggest problem in our local church ministry is sustaining it. We often spend a lot of time analyzing and coming up with an improvement, but how do you sustain that, and how do you make sure it stays relevant as your ministry grows? So with that being said, I also want to mention my husband is here. His name is Tony. I go by Tony as well, so we're called the Tonys sometimes. He's also an accomplished guitarist. We have a music group called Bless You in the Group that we put together in 2005, and our members have changed, but we really focus on a ministry of hope and using our anointed voices and skill sets to bring hope to people that we minister to. I've thoroughly enjoyed everybody today, and I look forward to talking with you all more tomorrow. Thank you.